and welcome back to my channel. So today we are actually going into Animal Crossing, and I decided that I wanted to decorate a new vacation home on my work island for Animal Crossing. So if you're unaware, for Animal Crossing there's DLC that you can go to this island and create vacation homes for different villagers, and I just felt like that's what I wanted to do today. And I actually went through all of the ones that were available here, and so we're actually visiting my little cafe, Strudel and Noodle, and I landed on Poncho. So he is the one that's actually going to be receiving a vacation home during this video. And it was very confusing to me because he was like talking about a gym at some point, but then he was talking about how he wanted like a Western vacation home. So anyways, he got a Western vacation home. There was no gym involved. But I did leave this in here so we can see the items we'd be working with. So if you're not familiar, those are items that we have to put in the build in order for it to be completed and for them to be happy. And so now we're just going to choose where we want to put it. Clearly, I already have a bunch of villagers out here on Archipelago, which is the name of this place. And I actually need to do a video of maybe going through and reminding myself what villagers I even have out here on this island and what they look like, to see if there's any that I want to change or just get rid of altogether. I am working towards making sure that I've unlocked everything so that I can make the most fabulous and wonderful vacation home for my favorite villager, which would be Judy. So once I determine that I actually have all of the perks, all the things you can do, so as you go through and progress and do more and more vacation homes, you get more and more abilities, like you unlock more items, or like in this case, I was trying to consider if I wanted to add sound and everything like that. And so once I have all the cool pieces, then I will put her on her specific island here. And because I want hers like vacation home to be fabulous, she deserves it. And you can also use like amiibo cards, like you can bring any villager here if you scan them in on your controller, and then you can make it like I've made one for Celeste. And so I feel like I really do need to like revisit some of these to remind myself what's here. But I actually decided to do 2 floors for this home for Poncho, and I was so back and forth because committing to 2 floors like takes more time obviously than just doing 1, but once I got the ability to do 2 floors, I don't know if I've really done a build that doesn't have 2 floors because I feel like there's more room, and I end up trying to always put like a bathroom in it and all this kind of stuff, even though that's not like necessary. They don't really need it, anything like that. Since I actually also on my channel play a lot of Sims. If you're interested in that, there'll be a link down below to a playlist for those builds if you're interested and you like watching these kinds of things and like interior decorating. In case you're unfamiliar with The Sims, it's basically just a life simulator, so you can go and check that out, as well as all of my other Animal Crossing content that I have on my channel. So this is definitely right up my alley. I just like decorating, and I feel like in another life I would be an interior decorator. Like I took some classes while I was in high school and all that stuff, but it's just not where my life led me. But I get to do it here in video game form. So I'm just trying to decide what I wanted this to look like. I didn't want it to look like really run down and like dilapidated, I guess. I wanted it to be still kind of like nice looking and everything. And it was funny when I was going through this, it's been a while since I've actually played the DLC for the game. I did a video actually going and looking at my island after 3 months of not playing on it. So if you haven't seen that video, be sure to go check that out, and which I'll link that down below as well. And so I haven't done this either, so even longer. It's been probably 4 or 5 months since I've done this, so it took me a minute. I didn't actually use like you get counters in the game as you progress. Like I didn't even use those or extra walls. I do, however, I feel like issues with the walls. Like I think it's really nice, but at the same time, like it blocks the space a lot. And these aren't huge spaces to begin with, so I don't use them very often just because I feel like it's hard for me to use. But, and out of curiosity, while we're talking about a bunch of villagers and everything, who is your favorite villager? Put that down in the comments because I am curious. I feel like there's a love-hate relationship with Judy. Like some people think she has like crazy eyes and they can't stand her, but then other people think she's adorable. I love her. She's never leaving my island. Once I add her, she's not leaving ever. And I feel like I'll just always have to have her on every island I ever have, because she's just, even if she doesn't fit like the overall aesthetic or theme of the island that I'm doing, And actually the Lily Falls, which is the island that's attached to this DLC, it is like a kind of like a fairy core island, so lots of stars and blues and pinks and flowers and things like that. And I actually need to finish decorating that island, so I'm hoping to make some videos of me actually doing that, because I've been meaning to do it, but I think I just kind of got overwhelmed with the amount of things I needed to do, so then I ended up not finishing it. So I need to actually go back and do that. And I do have another Switch with another island on it, which I haven't put on this channel yet, but I need to. Honestly, I'm thinking about starting it over. I did want it to be like this cottagecore kind of theme, but I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe doing it as just like a random island. So basically I can't change anything, like plots are gonna autofill, like I have to leave things where I put them. So in the game you have to originally put the house down for each villager, and like I want to leave it there. And then just have to like figure it out and work around the decisions that I made and not be able to move this stuff. So things are a little bit random, and I can't like restart the island. So when you start, you can restart over and over again until you get like a layout of an island you like and the fruit you like on the island. But I kind of want to do it to where like I can't do that. And so I'm thinking about doing that. Let me know what you think about that idea down below. You know, if you've done that before or have seen it before, or you think it's just like a terrible idea. And I'm kind of on the fence. I feel like it could be really awesome and leave a lot of room for creativity and like getting me to do things that are like new. And I actually totally like back onto the build here. I used that rug, I feel like a couple of times. There weren't a lot of rugs that like went with this aesthetic. And also like when you're doing this, you have access to a lot of items, but like not all of them. And they have certain items that they say, hey, would be useful. And actually while I was here, I noticed like all the ranch furniture, like I felt like looked good here because like I use this thing for it. And sometimes I have a hard time finding the items in this like long list of things because it's not like you can type and search. And so while I found all the ranch stuff, I just like ran upstairs and dropped off the bed and the big like dresser that I was going to use, so that I didn't have to worry about trying to find it later. And then a lot of the items here ended up having the ability to have like a little like tablecloth like runner thing on it. So I ended up going with like this yellow white checkered pattern, so I incorporate some yellow throughout. And we use it upstairs as well. But I did include a nice office space for Poncho. So this is his like Western getaway. So lots of room for cooking, hanging out, for having company, and for, you know, working on whatever. I don't know what he does in his spare time. He's like an athletic villager, so I don't know, maybe he's coming out with new workout plans or something while he's off in his vacation home. And so I also like will go through the catalog and just like dump a bunch of items into the room and then figure out how I want to use them later. And I did actually, because I've not done a villager vacation home that's in this aesthetic, I actually got a lot of new items for this. So I did have fun experimenting with those different new pieces. And I end up using like the crates in a couple places. I believe I actually end up using those as the end tables upstairs because I thought that was nice and rustic and cute. And I did end up adding some more stuff like the typewriter. I ended up finding a lot of stuff for the desk area that I wanted to use. So I ended up having to add like an extra table behind the couch. Like he's just like taken over that whole portion. And you can also make these rooms smaller or bigger to an extent. And so this one was kind of like a mid-size. And I have done it before where I've made the build like huge, both top and bottom. And it took me forever to finish. And I also have like, and you can do roommates as well. So I do have some roommate situations on the island. I did want to, so like I said, I have a Celeste vacation home, and I really wanted Celeste and Blathers to be able to have a home together. Like that was my whole grand plan, was to put them in a house together and each of them have a floor and everything since they're siblings, but you can't combine them, which is so frustrating, and I'm not sure why. Like they can't become roommates, which was my whole entire plan. So like I made this house, put Celeste in it, and then went to go add Blathers, and the game said no. So it kind of broke my heart a little bit. So Blathers does, I don't think I ever made him a house. So, and this is actually me trying to open up that little sewing kit. So it kind of looks like, you know, more used, and turning on the faucet, things like that. And I like doing that to a lot of the pieces that you can't interact with because I feel like it looks a little more lived in. And then coming up to the bedroom is still very spacious, and I do end up adding a nice bathroom area as well, to make sure Poncho can do everything he needs to do, including like a bathtub and a shower head. And then I think it's the funniest thing too when like the villagers use the toilets. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's just so funny to me. I actually have like one time I had a bunch of stuff all over my island, like on the beach. Like I was just organizing and I just had stuff everywhere. And I don't know why I ended up with a bunch of toilets. I think my villagers just gave me a ton of them. So I ended up putting a toilet out on the beach because I needed to like get it out of the way. And the next thing I know, Boots like goes, and that is a villager in the game, by the way. Boots like goes out there and is like using the bathroom. But not only that, but he falls asleep on the toilet. And like I walk over there and he's literally sleeping, going to the bathroom. And then he just like all of a sudden like wakes up and is like surprised that he's like using the bathroom on the beach. And then like wakes up and then like runs away. You know, like when your villagers do zoomies around everywhere. Yeah, he just gets up and runs away. It's like, it was the most ridiculous thing ever. I did take a video of it. I do need to upload it like as a short or something because it literally just cracks me up. Like I sent it to like my sister and my mom. Like you wouldn't even believe what this villager did. And they just kind of do whatever they want. And especially like if you ever try building on your island, they always like to sit where you're trying to put like the stuff down. Like they know and they just are there. But at the same time, when you go to sit next to them, like on a bench or something, they're like, hey, come sit with me. And you sit down and like they leave, which is like really rude, to be honest, and kind of hurts my feelings. But anyways, it took me a little while to figure out what I want to do with this bathroom, like how I wanted to lay it out, because you have to make sure that your villager can still get to all the pieces. Actually, you don't have to. You can actually do this however you wanted to. Your villagers don't actually have to be able to get to the bathroom. But it just, to me, like, aesthetically makes sense if, like, you can actually get around there, even though you don't necessarily have to. So this is me, like, rearranging over and over again. But I use that, like, those fence pieces as, like, a partition. Even though, like, I guess you wouldn't need it because he's the only one that's living here. So I guess, you know, you can do whatever you want to in your own vacation home. But it was kind of annoying because I wanted to, like, rotate that rug. But because that other bigger rug was there, I couldn't. So I had to, like, move, like, get rid of that, put the small one down, rotate it. And then I had to, like, put the bigger one back in. And then I just end up adding, and it was so sad. I went up there to put that big cabinet up there and then ended up not using it. But this is the one that was down the stairs that I really liked, but I wanted some extra space to put some things down, like a mirror, or whatever else. I think I ended up changing what's on top of there several times, in this process. And so anyways, yeah, so like I think that mirror, and that one didn't match, so I think I swapped it out for the wooden one, and then just adding like some light fixtures and things like that. And I do end up adding some like clothing to that wall, kind of like a mini closet, and I put like some Western clothes on the wall, although that's not what he's wearing at all. But I do actually, at the end of this, I do take photos and put that like in a montage at the end, so you can see some of the funny faces he makes during like his video and as he's walking around. I really like to like literally like put them in the room and like let them walk around and then like interact with it, and then they just, to me, they do some funny things. So I included some of that at the end of this video as well, because they just kind of do whatever. Like I think at one point he like strikes poses in the mirror and things like that. And then also, while we're here and talking about the end of the video, even though that's going to be a little while from now, please be sure to like and subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more like it. I'm always love to hear any kind of suggestions you have, so leave those down below in the comments if you would like. I'd really appreciate it. And here, I didn't even know that that item existed, like the cup with the toothbrush in it. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that. So I don't know if that's a new item that came with this, like, items for him or not. But yeah, I don't know. So I was like, I have to use this. And I did think about using, like, you can put effects on items, but I ended up not doing it because none of the effects seemed right for, like, this Western build I was working on. And then I feel like it always takes me forever to decide on the exterior of the house. And a lot of times, I'm trying to think. I think a lot of times I do the outside or the inside and then the outside. and versus the other way around. And I'm wondering if I did the outside first, if that would be easier, because then that might dictate what the inside would look like, even though it doesn't have to. I just tend to do it that way. And then adding the wagon back in. And I don't think I ever commented on that. I thought it was so weird that the game decided that the wagon should be inside the house. It just felt really weird because that's not an item you use inside of a house. So I put that back outside and then just start moving stuff around. I wish we could move the bridge, which I tried a lot. I assume we can't because I couldn't get it to work, but if you can, let me know. But I could not get that to work. But I do end up putting that little like store, like stall looking thing in the back, and we do actually size down the house a little bit because we put the little windmill thing over by the house in that area. And then I wanted to make sure I put the water pump in there, and I always love putting it like with the bucket because I just feel like that makes a lot of sense. Like that's where you would use it. And I do end up putting some flowers out here, although I don't know if they would actually really grow well in a desert, but it doesn't matter because this is Animal Crossing and those plants grow everywhere. But I do a lot of shuffling around until I decide exactly where I want to put stuff. The wagon does stay there. And at this point, I think it's starting to take shape a little bit more. But I was a little back and forth about it. And I had like the stacks of boxes I really liked, but it ended up that like you couldn't put items on top of a stack of 2 boxes, which I wish you could because I wanted to put something up there. But anyways, it's fine in the end. And I end up also taking some awesome pictures of Poncho out here as well. And I do love adding fencing to the outside of these builds because I feel like it adds a lot of character, especially if you've got like a plot of land that's not surrounded by a bunch of terrain, like this one is, like a bunch of cliffs and all. And I don't know why this lot just felt like this would be the right fit for Poncho in his Western like aesthetic. I assume because it's desert, but then I had 2 desert ones and I think I just like this water feature a lot. And then that was me, like I really wanted to put an apple and something else over there, but you can't put anything on the stack of 2. So I guess you just can't stack 2 things on top of each other. And I really wanted to use this signpost, but I even want to use it, like I use it on my own island, but I hate that it's so big. Like because like the area around the bottom of it's like 4 squares or something. It's huge. So that was a little difficult. I believe I did keep it in the end, but it did take some work to do. And I don't know why Poncho has a random skeleton, but you know what? It's fine. This is his vacation home. I'm not going to ask why there's a skeleton randomly on his like plot of land here, but you know, whatever. And so I left him a cherry pie, and he does actually go over to check it out later, which was actually super adorable. So that's one of those times that they ended up like interacting with stuff. I wanted to put a bunch of chairs over there. I think I only left 3 because I wanted the villager to be able to like walk around the space. They don't have to be able to, but I think it's cute when they do that, and especially meaning they can like interact with stuff, because I want to say I put some flowers over there, and they do tend to like water the flowers that are on like their lot, which I think is cute and a way for them to interact with the space. So I like them for them to be able to actually get to everything. But I think we end up putting like those like either white or yellow daisies, I believe, end up over there. This is me trying to figure out where to put that signpost because it was driving me a little bit crazy. And now I'm wondering if I did keep it or not because it is huge. And then I ended up just putting like this bench with a little ukulele, and then I also added in a pair of cowboy boots, which you'll see in a little bit. And oh yeah, I was just thinking, looking at those items, I always try to put like a picture of them in the build, which I think is kind of funny. Like I don't know, like I don't personally have a random photo of me just sitting around my house, but I don't know, apparently all of my villagers that live on this island have pictures of themselves in their builds. And I did like the yellow, was it hyacinths? Because to me those actually look like corn. So I feel like that'd be really cute if I had more land, maybe to have made like a little farm area, but I opted not to. And I think, do we actually have corn in the game now? I'm telling you, it's been so long since I did that. Like I have it all on my island. It's been a while. But I know we've got a lot of different crops on the island. Like I know like tomatoes and potatoes and stuff like that. And I actually like helped my mom build a farm on her island, but I haven't done that on my own island of Lily Falls. And I was trying to make just some like stepping stones so that like, you know, I feel like you come in the entrance and like head towards the house. And then, oh, we're actually getting to the point where we are introducing the house to Poncho. This is one of my favorite parts of building in the DLC, is watching the villager go around and look at their new home. And I actually forgot that they actually end up doing the video and looking around like wherever you tell them to look around. So I would have told him probably to look around outside or in the bottom floor, but he's gonna look around the bedroom. But don't worry, I do end up, like I said, with a bunch of pictures at the end, which end up coming out really well. And then he's just like checking out the cactus like he's never seen one in his life, even though he wanted like this like desert western situation. Like, I guess actually, did he want a prairie now that I'm thinking about it? Oh, well, it's fine. You have a desert poncho. But I think it's funny he's looking at it like he's never seen that before. And then, of course, they give me a chance to take a bunch of photos. And I don't think I actually filmed a lot of that. It took me a while to take all the photos I wanted. I just included some of the funny parts. So we have him like posing around, like, and there's a mirror over there. And I just thought it was the cutest thing. And him just like walking around. And then he ended up using the toilet. Like, oh my gosh, like you have visitors, Poncho. Like, there are people there. Why are you doing that? But, you know, he got his magazine out, and I thought it was so funny that he, like, pulls out a popsicle out of nowhere to eat that while he's walking around. And I also don't know who's on this wanted poster. Again, Poncho, I don't know what you have going on at your vacation home, but, you know, you do you. So this was him about to chow down on his cherry pie, so I ended up just heading out and going back to the home base and checking in with Lottie. And when I got there, Tom Nook was there. Like, what was he doing there? Like, rude. Like, that's never usually good news. But he actually did end up giving me something else for building, which was really nice. And I was really skeptical when he was asking about if I was working hard. Like, of course I do. I work really hard on your island too, because you don't do anything. I do everything. But that's just, you know, the way Tom Nook works. And so, anyways, of course, Lottie's like, oh yeah, she can just stay here forever. And Tom Nook's like, no, because then I actually have to work. So anyways, I unlocked the ability to be able to, I think it was look at all of my Nook shopping items. So that would be really awesome going forward with the building. So hopefully soon I'll actually have all the abilities. And so now I'm just heading back to my island of Lily Falls. And at the beginning, we were actually told that there was going to be shooting stars on my island. So of course, like I went in just to do this build, but now, you know, I definitely need to go check out the super cute shooting stars. So I'm just going to quickly run across my island and go head out to this lookout that I have on my island to look at the stars, and make some wishes on those and get some star bits, which now that I think about it, I've never actually went and got, so those are just gone. But this is just footage of me wishing on some stars to close out this video. So be sure to stick around and see the photos that I took, because they are so adorable. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more like this, and check out the other videos on my channel. There's some links down below if you want to check out those playlists. But anyways, I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.